Hey there everyone, welcome to Peace Through Truth. It is still Saturday, March 7th, 2015. It's 8:05 p.m. as I'm recording this one. Now, I just saw a video done by Professor Doom, and thank you Doom for putting up the video about Hillary Clinton being busted, running interference during the Benghazi attack. Dun dun dun! According to Fox News here, it says emails show Clinton aides running interference during Benghazi attack, which is not a surprise at all. Well, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. It says here, emails obtained through a federal lawsuit show that two top aides to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton were running interference internally during the 2012 Benghazi terror attack. The aides were Philip Raines, widely described as Clinton's principal gatekeeper, and Cheryl Mills, who has been at Clinton's side for decades. The emails show that while receiving updates about the assault as it happened, Mills told then State Department spokeswoman Victoria Nuland to stop answering reporter questions about the status of Ambassador Chris Stevens, who was missing and later found dead. So although they were getting the stuff as it happens, Mills told the State Department spokeswoman to not answer questions. Also littered throughout the State Department emails obtained by conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch are references to so-called Benghazi Group. A diplomatic source told Fox News that was code inside the department for this so-called Cheryl Mills task force, whose job was damage control. The effort to stop Nuland from answering reporter questions also may have contributed to confusion over the nature of the attack. Clinton that night had put out the first statement wrongly linking the attack to a supposed protest sparked by an obscure anti-Islam YouTube video, but that was never updated that night. Cheryl Mills was instrumental in making sure the big lie was put out there, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said. And if you're not familiar with the big lie, now, just real quickly, Wikipedia, according to them, a big lie is a propaganda technique. The expression was allegedly coined by Adolf Hitler when he allegedly dictated his 1925 book, Mein Kampf, about the use of a lie so colossal that no one would believe that someone could have the impudence to distort the truth so infamously. Hitler asserted the technique was used by Jews to unfairly blame Germany's loss in World War I on German army officer Erich Ludendorff. Now, I digress. So again, it says that Cheryl Mills was instrumental in making sure the big lie was put out there, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said. Judicial Watch obtained the State Department emails through legal action. What's notable thus far is we received no emails from or to Hillary Clinton, he said. You have to wonder whether these aides went offline and were using secret accounts to communicate with her about the Benghazi attack. The emails emerged as Clinton fielded criticism over revelations that she used personal email during her tenure as secretary. She's now asking the department to make public thousands of emails she has turned over. Now, just to save time, I'm not going to go over the rest of the article. It's kind of just all deflective stuff, kind of like deflecting blows off of Hillary Clinton there, essentially saying, you know, that there's actually no emails tying her to the actions of the aides, Mills, and the other guy. I think it's very important that we address the fact that you wouldn't do the state business on your private email if you have a secure state email line address that's not going to be hacked and all that stuff because it's the freaking State Department. So obviously she was writing her emails on the side privately for a reason. And the reason why she turned over thousands of emails, I really wish my computer was working right now. Yeah, thousands of emails, is because she's trying to flood people with useless information. For instance, I know when large companies get audited and stuff, they try to give the IRS as many useless receipts as possible just to try to flood them with as much as possible. So that's all she's trying to do is flooding the market, so to speak, with useless shit, you know, that's never going to incriminate her. She's already got rid of all the evidence. Now, what this is really about, guys, is the attack on September 11th, 2012. the Benghazi attacks, 2012. That's what this is really about, obviously. And if you're not familiar with the Benghazi attacks of 2012, really what it was all about was Ambassador Chris Stevens was about to blow the whistle on Hillary Clinton in the State Department. It was his job to actually run guns to the group that is now known as ISIS. It was then known still as Al-Qaeda, but they couldn't sell guns openly to Al-Qaeda, so they branded them moderate rebels, moderate Syrian rebels, and they started selling these guns to moderate Syrian rebels through a compound in Benghazi, Libya. Okay, that is this compound that is torched here. Let's see, there's a good picture of it somewhere here. There we go. Now, this compound was originally called an embassy in the reports. The reports had to be redacted eventually after much scrutiny because it's not an embassy, it wasn't a consulate. They ended up having to label it, the State Department ended up having to label it as a diplomatic facility. And the reason why this building was a diplomatic facility is because that's where they were doing the gun deals. That's where they were selling the weapons to what is now known as ISIS. Now, I don't get on here very often without documentation of anything. If I can't show you paperwork or green screen for some kind of proof, I usually don't put my opinion out there and try to sway other people's knowledge or opinions of things. But I'd really like you to do your own investigating into this if you haven't already. I think this is huge. The fact that her emails are obviously, there's a reason why she's doing state business on a private email, and there's a reason why she's turning over thousands of emails willingly after her aides have been busted by email running interference to making sure this guy Chris Stevens died. Now, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but you have to understand, Chris Stevens was ripping pissed because the security that they hired, the State Department hired, because they couldn't, well, I mean, they could have put regular Marines in to be security, but they couldn't really put Americans in there that might somehow blow the whistle that they were gun running, so they hired a branch of Al-Qaeda to actually be the security for this facility. As dumb as that sounds, our State Department actually does it all the time. They actually hire people that they are actively fighting to run security for overseas operations all the time. So, I know that sounds like speculation, but that's what's really going on here, folks. Chris Stevens was going to blow the whistle on Barack Obama and Eric Holder and Hillary Clinton and all of them for selling weapons to ISIS, for arming ISIS, for funding ISIS. They found out about him and how he was going to blow the whistle, so they had to tighten up loose ends. They actually hired Al-Qaeda to carry out the attacks to kill the ambassador, so nobody would find out that they were actually selling guns to ISIS. And now look at ISIS, driving brand new Toyotas, very well armed, very, very well equipped. It's very, very easy to connect these dots. It's real easy to see. When you actually have been following it for as long as I have, it's actually kind of frustrating that news like this hadn't leaked earlier. Now, once again, I'm not trying to directly influence your opinion one way or another. I'm just trying to tell you the opinion and what I have come to after my years of research since September 11th, 2012. So I strongly encourage you do your own research into it. Look into Benghazi if you haven't already. It's quite obvious from the eyewitness testimony of people that were working with, in the military and the Defense Department at the time, in their statements that something was going on because the military assets, the CIA, and nobody was rushing to the aid of Americans like they should have been. So there was a red flag immediately from all those people, and it became very apparent that it was an inside job from pretty much the beginning. So anyway, alright guys, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you for your viewership, for those of you that have hung in there with me till the end. And if you have not already, please like and subscribe.